Hi, it's Maddie, mental health therapist with Medina County, Ohio Guidestone. If you have any questions, please email me at this email address, maddie.ropoleski@ohioguidestone.org. Thank you. So this week, we'll be talking about structure and routine. Remember that age-old road trip question, are we there yet? Thinking about how much that question sometimes drives us crazy. But that's a question that we might be having now. What's next? What are we going to do today? So if we create some structure and some routine, we can try to help to avoid that question so our child and we as caregivers know what's coming next in our day. So here we have a presentation about creating structure and routine in our home. How do we create structure? These are the 4 things that are key to creating structure. The first off being establish a routine. I'm sure a lot of you already have, but together as a family, thinking about how the day is going to look, especially the school and work days, thinking about what time are we going to wake up, what time are we going to do math, what time are we going to play outside. This is to create structure like we have at school, but without the bells. Then, defining our goals. Thinking about our goals, not just for while we're at home as a whole, but just thinking about our daily goals of the things we want to try to get done. And then creating a space that works for us. So as we've said before, thinking about how do we separate school versus play, and utilizing the space that we have, whether it's an apartment or it's a house, thinking about how can I make this time feel like school, and then to clear it off and have it feel like play. And of course, the key is to be consistent. This may be the hardest part, as some days we're just feeling tired, and some days we need to have some flexibility. But trying to be as consistent as possible will help us to create the best structure during this time. So, with our routine, thinking of it together as a family. What's the order of the day going to look like? Is math our most challenging subject? Do we want to get that done first? Thinking about the key items and how we're going to break it down, with of course providing ourselves time for breaks. Like at school, we have time for recess and we have time for lunch. And there are moments during the day, sometimes in classrooms, that we have some free or creative time. So making sure we allow our children to also have that will help to establish a better and healthier routine. So creating rules for the routine. Yes, rules are important. And we may have already had rules at our home, but establishing rules for our routine will help us to get through them more successfully. And this can be done together and asking each other, what do we need to put into place in order to get everything done on our routine? But of course, having that flexibility. So, defining our goals. We want to make sure we provide direction and we have a clear focus of what is important and what do we want to get accomplished. Giving our child time to ask us questions and also helping them to make decisions can provide additional motivation. But having goals can create motivation for everyone in the family. So thinking about it this time, we might have these huge goals that we want to get accomplished of baking all of these breads or doing all of these things, but making realistic goals that work for us during this time. And then with the spaces, designating spaces that are the fun and play and the school spaces. While of course we might not all have a lot of space in our house to do this, saying that when we're sitting at the kitchen table, that's when we're doing schoolwork. And when we get up and stretch, those can be our break times. Also, making sure our space is clean and organized. At school, a lot of times we have days that we can clean our lockers or clean our desks. Making sure we have that defined area that's organized will help us to stay focused and on track. Lastly, being consistent. It's important, especially for children, to be able to know what's coming next. Writing it out in a nice way that we can have it on the wall so everyone can see what we're doing and when it's coming next can help with organizational skills and can also help with time telling and can also just help us to stay on top of our tasks and recognize this is the amount of time we have for each thing. So, thank you for listening. I understand that during this time, it's not always easy, but if we can try to create a routine and give ourselves some structure, it'll make our lives a lot easier. Thank you and have a nice day.